Welcome to livingpianos.com. I'm Robert Estrin, and today the subject is how to establish a slower tempo. Now you might think that there's nothing to it, but I can tell you from teaching for many years that when students encounter a problem and they are instructed to play slower, try that again more slowly, I would say 90% of the time they play at exactly the same tempo. Because how do you establish a slower tempo? You're playing something, let's say you're playing Bach's Prelude from this Well-Tempered Clavier, Book 1 in C major. Well, you know, somebody might be playing that, but along the way, maybe they can't quite keep up the tempo, so they really need to take a slower tempo so they can get through the whole thing and think it through. So you say, take a slower tempo, and what happens? You guessed it. They play exactly the same tempo. And you can, keep saying slower, slower, slower. It doesn't work. So how do you actually establish a slower tempo? What you need to do is first see what tempo you're actually playing. So when I'm playing this, to be able to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you can play at that tempo, then you count without playing 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you can go slower by, and how do you establish a slower tempo? You say the first number, 1, then you wait. Then you say number 2 and continue at that rate. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, you say 1, 2, 3, 4. So notice that by taking a moment after you say the first number, then continuing at that rate, that is the simple way. And then you play it at that new tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this isn't just for practicing, although for practicing it's an essential technique, because being able to slow down to a workable tempo to think through sections that you're working on is so important for solidifying your music. Equally important in performance, because when you play a performance, you're naturally going to get excited, the adrenaline flows, and if you're not careful, you might take too fast a tempo. So always lock in your tempo by thinking the music, either tap or count that tempo, then go back and then slow it down by stopping after the first count just a little bit and continuing at that new rate. Then think the music at that rate. Make sure that's the right tempo. Solidifying tempo in a performance is vital for having a successful performance. I hope this is helpful for your practice and your performance. Again, I'm Robert Estrin here at livingpianos.com, your online piano resource. You're welcome to subscribe, and even more content on Patreon. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you next time.